Ballet Marmonia sure is buzzing with activity today.
Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two.
Excuse me.
I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got my hands full.
Everyone's so busy.
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have to wait for just a moment. In the meantime, please, have a seat. If you...
That's all right. We just ate.
Very well.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to finish his work.
All right. That should wrap things up for now.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the fortress of Meripede. And it appears...
That's right, and we can... Do you have any idea what that...
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary waters. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tivat. Therefore, we can only assume that child is...
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how? Does it...
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he could have gotten there myself. Yes? What is it?
We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater, so we figured you might know something about...
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. The source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking stopped, the water levels in the...
The water levels rose? Oh no!
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time, and have already... If the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then this...
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check on her!
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. We must immediately formulate disaster prevention plans for the surrounding... I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first. I'll meet you there to check on the situation.
There's no time to lose! Let's get going!
Please be careful.
Oh no! What happened here? Navia should be around here, right? We need to make sure she's still... We haven't seen a single soul all the way here.
What will I ever do now?
Look, there's someone up...
Just stay put! We're coming up! Watch your balance!
All right. not young anymore.
Oh, he looks pretty sad.
My leg! How could this have happened? It hurts!
Just hang in there. Help is on the way. You could...
It's Navia! She's over there! Hey, Navia! Are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson.
Yes. As you can see, the water levels...
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to safety, but we've run out of medical supplies.
He's wounded?
He fell, so it's probably a broken leg. He's pretty shaken up. When the water level rose, he desperately climbed up to the roof. Once the water receded...
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1, and tell him to take the wounded resident to see a doctor.
Understood. I'll take over his search and rescue mission in the meantime.
All right. You'll be in charge. I'm sorry.
The situation?
Right. Allow me to explain. A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, the rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of primordial seawater. Some people didn't realize the danger and thought everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water didn't have a chance to escape. Those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to higher ground. Many were injured, and the Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible. But there have been a lot. The water that flooded the area contained primordial seawater, so the lower levels of Poisson are still hazardous. No one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now is try our best to help evacuate the residents. We still haven't completed the head count, but we'll have...
How awful. And all of this just...
It was quite frightening indeed. I only wish...
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being so willing to help in a moment of crisis like this. You...
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here!
Sorry. I need to go for now.
And out she goes. Seems it might be a while.
Okay. The wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary head count. More support has just... Of course, we should remain ready for anything, and continue doing our best to rescue others. Traveler, Paimon?
Huh? Right now?
Thank you. Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the whole situation in Poisson...
Right. That's how things are.
Navia? Navia,
sorry. I just... Maloose and Silver, they won't ever come back. What should I do, Papa?
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but still, they were helping evacuate the residents, and they were caught in the seawater.
What should we do?
I've known them for so long, and I know they weren't afraid. I could at least hold a funeral for my father, and I know where he rests. But as for Maloose and Silver...
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect that you...
I can understand. Besides,
See, it's not just me. I always want to bring something when I visit Papa. Perhaps we might even have a...
How could Master ever be upset? Yet the cemetery is the home of those who have passed, is it not? Everyone ends up here sooner...
Buying yourself a plot in advance, are you?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master
Hey, stop joking around.
I'm quite serious. That way, it will save us both the trip to see each other whenever you...
That makes sense. In that case, could I be buried on his own?
After all, besides you, demoiselle, the two of us could...
Personally,
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously. But I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving? I'd promised to let them rest in peace here. But... I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess like this.
Paimon doesn't know how to help you feel better.
I'd always thought I could make my wishes come true. But now that I think about it, Maloose and Silver have helped me so much. I'm so sorry.
You can spend as much time as you need here, Navia.
Thank you. By the way, you can have a look at this.
Obena, Khan, Burnett, so everyone else is safe.
It's okay. I know what you're thinking. And you're right. The overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right. Don't think that way, Navia. One person might be saved at the... Maloose and Silver were not the price for saving anyone.
You're right. Thank you. What you said just now was pretty amazing, actually.
Oh.
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
The knave? What are you doing here?
Is everything going well on your side?
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated, and we're preparing to relocate. As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of. There is no need to worry.
Thank you very much.
Wait, do you...
We just met recently. Right, Miss Navi?
Usually, I would call this a coincidental encounter. But that doesn't quite fit this time. Besides, thanks to the knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui, which allowed us to complete the rescue and evacuation work.
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing. That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on.
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you previously. We've never worked with a Fatui. My subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations.
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. It is simply the way of powerful organizations to act forcefully, whether they are doing good or... As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy, and I intend to prevent the impending disaster. Lending your organization a hand was a natural first step in accomplishing that. As such, do not be troubled by this token of our sincerity. Perhaps one day, you'll also be able to help me in the same way.
Without your help, there would have been many more casualties.
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver. I only wish that—
Don't say that. You and your subordinate— As Paimon said, Malus and Silver didn't choose to sacrifice themselves for any specific person. I've never liked hearing people put it that way. It's like trying to relieve pain by saying some noble-sounding words.
You're right. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss Navia. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also spells disaster. It's no wonder that people always say that prophecies represent fate. Fortunate.
So, you're one who will try to change—
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have some things to take care of, and the children need my attention. By the way, Traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
Alright, then we'll just...
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when necessary. But there's no— Traveler, I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when— You and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the Fortress of Maripede's sluice gate, and this time it was the water level. Indeed. Allow me to share the latest intel I've received from the— During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins near Poisson. The ruins date back to ancient times, and judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy and the coming crisis. The situation is becoming more— My people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration. Unexpectedly, this disaster struck. And at present, we're all busy
So that's why the Fatui were already in Poisson.
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine have all— Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they trust most is you. Which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you. I'm sure you already understand how earnest they consider their friendship with you to be.
Oh! That somehow—
The intel I just shared about the ruins could fetch a high price. But since the children consider you family, it's only natural that I freely share it with you.
Got it! So all we gotta do is go to some ruins, right?
Excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join?
But are you sure you're up to exploring some ruins?
Well, I'm sad, yes. But I can't just— There's no point in being depressed while we still have a disaster on our hands. As my father's success— Besides, I'm also doing this for myself. I need something—
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. What? All right. The ruins are to the south of Poisson. Here's the map.
Okay, the three of us will handle it. Come on, let's pack up and get going. So, are these the ruins the knave was talking about?
They seem to be pretty ancient.
Let's go in and have a look.
Just be careful.
Hold that pose!
Settle down!
As one with wind and cloud!
I'm going in!
Bow your head.
Dada Kundala.
Here isn't safe!
Settle down!
Say cheap! This place has also been contaminated by primordial...
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontanian would most likely dissolve the moment they fell in.
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous, and it won't be any help for you to just stay here. Don't get by my wrong. We're not...
No, you're right. I can't do anything in this situation. I'll leave this to you. That complicates things.
In that case, do you want to...
The water levels here are unstable, and there's a I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit just up ahead.
All right. Come with... Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
Wait, there's something wrong with this bridge.
Demoiselle?
Huh?
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till dark?
Maybe she just wants some time to herself, Malus.
Hmm? Oh.
Yes, it would appear.
That's quite possible. However...
Oh, right. I nearly... It must have slipped my mind when I... This is a familiar...
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, no. I was just trying to recall why we...
Do you remember Mr. Giverny? He'd requested our help before with...
We were headed to see how things were going with him at the moment.
Ah, right.
Oh? Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too.
How have you been?
I've been great. Thanks to your help, those bothersome merchants finally realized that I wasn't the one they were looking for. Why, I wasn't even... They were knocking at my door day and night. Even my neighbor, Obina, was getting...
Sometimes force is required to...
That's right. Oh, by the way, Burnett, what was it that you wanted to give to Miss Navia again?
Oh, yes. One moment, Miss Navia. These are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. They're very good. I don't know what we would have done without your help. So this is a little...
Did you cultivate them yourself? Thank you so much.
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, Demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for...
Very well.
Wait. Something seems to be... Excuse me, madam. If I'm not mistaken...
That's right. Is something wrong?
No, it's nothing. This is the first time we've ever met, but your name's... I've heard this name before. Sometime recently, And why are there so few people around here?
We must mind the time, Demoiselle.
Huh? We do?
Well, now, did you...
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking for you. Please, come to the opera house.
My trial? Oh.
Yes, she's right, Demoiselle. It's just about...
Oh? All right, then.
Look, it's Navia! She's here!
And her two attendants are with her! Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be oddly... Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. And as for the judge... huh? Where's Monsieur Neuvillette?
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry, Silver and I shall...
All right. But are you sure you can...
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed, but...
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on, do they have any idea what they're doing?
Seriously.
Enough with the whispering!
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've done? As all here know, you are Master Callus's successor. After you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late Master Callus had. Not only you, but your butler, your subordinates, nearly every...
Wait a moment.
Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And that is why we are one big family. All of us who are from Poisson, inextricably. Therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty, and you shall stay here. You...
Huh? What? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed done a lot for my...
Oh, well, if that's what...
How wonderful, Miss Navia!
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now.
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now.
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr. Joinville, you only know of Navia's good.
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied down by anything. Indeed,
her actions cannot serve as proof that she identifies herself as part of any group. She merely acted as an individual. Please do not mistake her.
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontanians here. This is the nation of justice, the nation of Hydro. Even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that her beautiful soul must return. Everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro, and in the end, everyone shall meld together. Thus, when a unanimous opinion... Now I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay.
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. You are merely jealous that Demoiselle still has a chance. Have you forgotten how much you all...
Do you mean to defy our justice?
If your justice is flawed, then why should we acknowledge it?
As you said, we can also have our own justice. Silver and I shall... And that is how we will enforce
my head... It hurts.
Demoiselle.
Silver, it hurts. My head is spinning. I remember now. Everything that seemed odd. Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
Don't be afraid, and don't admit guilt.
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? We are the majority, and in the don't let them escape! We shall keep Navia here
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying?
No more excuses!
She says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an independent individual?
What's with these people? Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us!
Miss Navia, she...
Silence!
That's... Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented, the court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this, I shall hear no objection.
Our thanks, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still...
But...
Go on now, Demoiselle. This is your only chance to leave this place. What?
Malus.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that this shall be our last.
Malus. Silver.
Quickly! You must come now!
Goodbye, demoiselle.
Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive.
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling toward the water. You were just about to be dissolved within. I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction. Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to
Wait! Did you say Oceanids? You mean like what happened with—
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids.
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me.
Please come with me.
Neverlet, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right.
Why do you look so stiff all of a sudden? Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type who feels awkward when there's nothing to talk about.
I merely thought that we should give Navia some time.
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then? Don't you think it's even more—
I suppose so. Ah, Sigewin. I hope all is well with her these days.
No way! Don't worry. She's doing fine down there.
I see. Well, that is good. I have always worried that
Oh, and the Duke also says hi! Even though Sigewin made him do that. He hopes that you—
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately, and I also hope that everything is going well.
He still doesn't know what to talk about. So, Neverlet.
Yes, of course.
This isn't going anywhere.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatui were helping the residents evacuate. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the knave, and we had a chat. She and—
Yeah, we originally planned to meet up with you, but we thought you might still be busy with all those official documents. We didn't—
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
All right! Another one joins the party! Let's get going then!
Let's light it up! Everybody stand! Hard hitting it!
Settle down!
Nada kondala.
Oh no! Another unstable path! Watch your step!
Silence! Be sanctified.
Clouds hide. The birds call.
Teamwork is strength!
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden spaces.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems like they were put here as an offering.
Perhaps we should just leave them be for now.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that shipped...
The surrounding walls also...
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that this nation be...
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose.
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes. Indeed, the slate...
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a whole bunch of other people behind her doing the same. She's facing this...
And is that Lady Farina in the 3rd image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the water?
And is that a ring of people around her?
The 4th image. I know this one. This exactly matches the content of the prophecy.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon... More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Neuvillette. Deciphering ancient stones...
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just looking... This says that it's the history of the future, right?
I really...
Still, Paimon feels like...
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the 4th, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the 3rd, where the Hydro...
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the 3rd image. That means that the person in the 2nd image might...
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies.
Did she herself commit that sin? And also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their contents...
But who would have created these slates?
It seems that any further clues will have to come from...
In that case, there's no time to lose. There's nothing else to be gained here.
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now. Smile!
let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening with the Spina. You know how it is.
You still have energy for that, Navia?
Just head back to the Fluvsandra and have a rest then.
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning to ask about the stone slates. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my office.
Are you really gonna talk to her about this directly?
She has long been harboring secrets and will not give them up easily, which makes it all the more...
Alright, we'll leave it in your hands then. You're probably...
I will be carefully considering my...
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fluvsandra is always open to you, as ever. Alright, I'll be on my way then.
Welcome back. We've got a special menu prepared for you.
Yay! And there's good food too! Navi, no, the boss. Hyman's already starting to forget.
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think it is?
Huh?
It's you two. What are you doing in Font... Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever they've got time to just see.
Still, we didn't expect to see you here. Wait, you're not a Fontanian.
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because
yeah.
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, there was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it is now according to her wishes.
It isn't?
Nope. Although it is used by us in place of surnames, it generally...
Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name.
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were to take one. Astromancer Barbaloth Trismegistus.
Whoa, that's a long one.
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, the thrice as...
Thrice as great? That's so... petty.
I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to call herself Magistus, actually.
Talk about excessive.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't get it. You can look into it further should you need to study astrology more deep.
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontanian.
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dormanport, and I traveled with the old hag for a while, after which I settled down.
Oh, that's a good thing then. At least we know you...
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here in Fontaine, right? There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the Steambird invited me to take part in a panel, and the invitation was sent quite early on. I don't think anyone expected Fontaine to be in this much.
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us what you think as an astrologist. Your word...
What I can tell you is that I'm an astrologist, and that this prophecy concerns the fate of Fontaine. I'm afraid that this is not something that just anyone can do. If I could do it, you would know. But on the flip side, the prophecy is so huge and powerful that it must surely come from a powerful visionary.
A visionary? Sounds really powerful and all, but...
Of course. The old hag could do it, and I'd bet there are others amongst those Hexenzirkel colleagues of hers who could do something similar. Huh? Are you sure? All right, I'll help you. It isn't often that I see...
Thanks, Mona! You're amazing as always!
Oh, well, this is something only...
That's the greatest of astrologists for you! Of all the people we...
Indeed. That's the spirit.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about.
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us suspicious looks. Right, but we were able to recruit Mona's help, didn't we? Good morning. To be honest, I'm still feeling but it's time to get up, Traveler. We agreed to go see Novelette, so let's pack it up and get going.
You're here! Finally!
Is
Monsieur Durvalette and Lady Farina, they seem...
Like I said, I've already explained everything!
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from...
You mean... they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster. I will say this once more. You must tell me. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruin.
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know, but you found them?
That's correct. Which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 featured...
The prophecy?
The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if
I don't! I've never seen...
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for...
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. I understand your concerns, but... I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various... There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the... This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not... You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you...
So you've been watching me all this time, have you? I didn't think you were that type.
You...
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me, your Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't...
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh! You noticed!
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why... Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but to
Oh? Like what?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have...
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that she won't just...
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must... This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so... But who will lend us their aid to do...
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. That naturally makes it the best choice.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most...
That's what family should do.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me?
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the as for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to explain in detail. A round of applause, please.
Huh? Didn't you say that you would...
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss.
In that case, do any of you have experience?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, Oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known, though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. They even left a unique methodology. A trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment. So, if we were to build a trap together, right...
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count on our techniques.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm quite the multitasker if I do say so.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like placing bait in the water and waiting for the fish to come within reach. That's the kind of method I would count on.
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person who would catch loads of...
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion,
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clock. I remember that you liked those too.
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not...
That makes sense. You usually... But I do have one more question. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily... If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for...
Wait.
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and death is often exceedingly thin.
We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting method... But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god. A being who sees...
Oh, so that's what's going on.
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much has been happening. Paimon didn't think the meetings would go on. Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but well, it's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world. Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't... Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrain...
Who's that voice?
Aw, have you forgotten me already?
Wait, you are familiar.
The voice from the sky, Huh. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that confusion and thus came to you, guiding... Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim. The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesized will...
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily... Ah, so you've caught up. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods. Could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Are the things that you shall see different?
What is she talking about?
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant. Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. This was good tea, by the way.
The voice. Alright, coming! Hey, it's...
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively
Luna!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around...
Did she have pink hair?
Why, yes! It was Charlotte. You remember, I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people...
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear...
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try again tonight. Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon.
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times, but I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... well, suffice it to say that...
Whoa, the Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group, but they must really
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must...
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn... Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now. Traveler, Paimon?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now. It kind of feels like the end is coming, you know?
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. So far as I have seen, it cannot be swayed. But even so, I still hope for, and believe in, miracles. Astrology is eternal and rational, but fate may not be. Perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart, and to believe that what you... I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how...
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. It was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I believe that you'll help those who are struggling in the same way I did. I suppose that might be why we all...
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler, Paimon's... Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by. names are written in this newspaper. Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy. My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report? A blind adventurer with their white fairy, legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail. Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter. Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines... Paimon's hungry. Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it! Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go. Paimon's sure it'll be...
1 slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all! Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems
Wait, did he really say...
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me,
do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but... maybe...
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No. Still, even if there'd be no more... No. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call...
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. Yes, and you can only lift... I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You...
And there she goes! Alright, let's dig in. Paimon... It's more delicious than last time! And the flavor gets even better with a sip of tea! It sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious... Oh, we're near the Seabird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
How? If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon!
Ha! You've got some nerve!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson sometime back. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with...
Really?
Oh, you're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives...
Oh, Paimon knows you're not...
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you look...
When Mona mentioned you, we thought of coming to see you at work.
I see. It seems you've already So she mentioned me? What did she say?
She said that you're a real dick.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request...
Huh? So your article in the...
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the...
Yeah, are we?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it.
Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. I'll have to apply for lighting, a venue, some props, and... Whew, so much to get done.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If...
If you're... From what I've seen, most people... So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview, and then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get caught. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic, but I do love my job, and I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. But anyway, that's my answer. And on that...
That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking... If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow... No, Paimon should ask if... We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking... You mean, still traveling? Huh. Feels like it'll grow more, but it's still better than the fort.
So the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermont?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillac sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the fortress of Meropide. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared...
A riot?
Well, that said, Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the...
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also the first...
So what happened after that is Farina...
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control, and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of it. The Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order, and did not catch where Lady Farina had...
So, you mean she's still...
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her. But that said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god, after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her? Good. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation.
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Ah, is that so?
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to... And, as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic. When Nervillet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, it would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today. Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try... Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back it up, too. In that case, there's none of... This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. That's Farina, right over there.
Should I just give up? This is all meaning. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought...
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this... Who did that uncivilized rabble think they even dare to tout their Archon? I must teach them a lesson. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marche Chaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to... Of course not!
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to come. That's against the rules. I can't let...
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up! This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon.
What? What is this place?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed. You're right.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground...
Yeah, a quake of this kind...
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Novelette's made some emergency plans.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've already... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. But all my efforts prove to be we cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean fine indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people, but just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right, as long as the final moment hasn't come. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Come
on! Paimon could have sworn you...
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage... If that's the case...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself.
May I interpret these words as your refusal? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your...
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered!
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning?
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands...
Looking for excuses again?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my I will admit that I've been running away. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to You are not the only ones to be disappointed in... But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her... I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice! This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice! One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese. Mark my words, this shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine!
Woohoo! Oh, now we're making history!
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic...
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak with... Also, please allow me to ask, Azif, just how much work did you do to force me onto this?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurs, so we arranged for a second group.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally...
That's right. That house was a magic box.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese. The volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Erenie. Was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was...
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only...
Thank you.
As for you, traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted, but you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the...
Oh?
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she... Oh, let Paimon see. Wait. Then that means this document is a perfect timeline of every... So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated... The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always... According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both child and that... I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, the words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be...
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been... Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However,
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric.
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady...
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false act.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also...
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, and if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
That doesn't sound right. Paimon... member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against...
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally but in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Neverlet?
Lady Farina is actually a...
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell you...
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans... For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of... One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
To reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice...
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for...
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current... While the court is in session, the principles of justice and... You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue...
I never thought... you'd use that kind of rhetoric.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did... Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with...
Isn't that...
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with...
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's...
Hey, come now, everyone! Please, I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The what, please? You've got to believe me!
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors?
Enough! That's enough! Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence...
Wow, she came up with yet another argument! Ugh. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of the seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the... Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler...
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us.
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside...
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to...
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really planning to...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water!
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend...
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds.
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is this...
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may return to the...
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved!
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. We don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve it. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used.
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway me to just two-stepped against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict to be punished via the death sentence.
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been...
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. Is this sentence really appropriate for the crime?
Yeah! Even Vache wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our... But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately involved...
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still...
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any mission
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded? Then... doesn't...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing...
Huh? So what do you see? What is...
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with...
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that... so when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be true. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn... Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her... This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that... The third slate shows the Hydro Archon seeking... Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after...
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that and the first stone slate tells us that long ago the Hydro Archon... This might be the reason that Fontanians can... Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervilette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia as recorded on the stone slates. It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing? Prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontanians to dissolve. It seems if we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the sea. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what... Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! But then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible! Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real human.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vache dissolved were also... Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw...
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating...
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians, and in the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves expressed to the However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history.
So we were all Oceanids before...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that...
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death?
This really might be too much information for your regular
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct. A key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water, they have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, you may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court. Yes, it refers to our...
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the 4th slate will...
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripedes. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
It was both dream and reality.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well that whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. And once it has finished consuming all of the
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to Tark?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, from the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy?
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off to war.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we've come so far. You can't just tell me.
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end, no matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesized will be fulfilled. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But...
Fusolo, why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. The heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly...
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe. She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized I had to outwit the heavenly principles. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria... Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one...
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by...
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit. leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called.
But Farina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely.
The wind knows me.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august... All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my... Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times... Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough. Hold that pose!
Settle down!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Off we go. Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're near me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what?
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy.
What prophecy? Wait. I know. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will—
Oh, very good.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember. And
yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontanian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. Goodness, as for the suffering, well, I will admit that but if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if I've already met you as my magical meeting in this, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my
You truly are the perfect human. My ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to
play as a god.
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of—
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity.
I'm still not sure I understand, but so how long—
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure, but I promise you, all will eventually...
A trial. Huh. How exciting. The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Opera Epiclese. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, in truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you as the god Focalor, the god of justice. I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of... Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or this... should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more... assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions that...
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being right? Mirmi said that I just need to calm down, Farina. Think. Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. Oh, very good, my people. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of... Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous... You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera?
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, it must carry fairness and justice. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine. There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. All that is needed is for you, my people, to... So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I stand before the Oratrice, I shall even judge the gods of this world!
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now. Was I not just at the Opera House in person? Besides, none of these trials were the
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly—
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial.
That's true, I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance and... Oh, I'm afraid that's just an inevitable consequence of my divine... All right. Deuteria, is it? How is your son's illness?
He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who forced me to seek an art.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future...
Oh, you're such a gentle and wise god.
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of,
I see. It's as I thought, then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted all manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass.
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine research...
Really? Have they found anything?
I'm afraid that they...
Oh, is that so? Well, no wonder. This issue... The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment to breathe this whole time. But it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep... Alright, Farina, don't think too hard.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases, as well as a summary of the follow-up.
There'll be no need for that.
Lady Farina, I've... Wait.
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This joyous moment is an honor.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies.
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up at the Institute. I don't think I let anything slip today. I just don't know when these days will end. I feel utterly exhausted. Best to rest.
Lady Farina, it's like a dream being able to speak with... I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Deuteria, almost 20 generations ago.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great
Surely you exaggerate, lady.
What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Really now? I didn't even notice. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then. Oh, Archon, I am honored to have witnessed it. Honored indeed.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show I never imagined that it would hurt so have I reached my limit. I want to tell someone, anyone about this. I've conducted so many investigations across this. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act. It is the only...
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, you...
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that...
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still just share it with me.
A witness. Yes, and if Tevat is in its entirety, if that's... She's right. I could confide in her, but if things don't play out as expected... No, Farina, you should... But what if... Farina, you've worked so hard for so... Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might never come by again. Think about it long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Farina, the Archon of Fontaine. Everything will surely... All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my...
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must... She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these... It seems that trusting humanity was...
I believe that I understand how your deception works. But that is only how would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the most important thing.
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of... I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the... It now seems that that person was you.
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so. Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice... I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peace? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnity. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated, the vast majority had to be accumulated to enact this death sentence.
It was all part of your plan, then?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine...
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are... The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is the...
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles that Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And the heavenly principles stole the power. I, for my part, am the god of justice. Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be, in other words, existence was Egeria's justice, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. At this point, we, whether it be myself or all Iudex Nervillet, the highest judge in our land, when you regain...
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see, at last, I now understand the true purpose behind this. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually... You are a devious one, Focalor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Codex Nouvellette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dis-
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
But didn't you say just a-
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, we should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is... Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has... find a way to attack it from within. We shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power. We shall look for an opening together.
Say cheese!
I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
Wind strike!
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself. I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within. Silence!
Time to go. As one with wind and flop.
Hard-hitting exclusive! Going in! Let's light it up!
Settle down! An oversight on my part.
Say cheese!
Let the mighty be humbled!
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but... oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring... That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its look. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost... So what sort of person is your master? Well, child's master's master.
Oh, right. So you don't know him. His name is Sir Taloji.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master is insufficiently famous. How should I describe...
The Foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfulnir, then? Or Gold Rhindaughter?
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhindaughter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom!
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of the... But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhindaughter.
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over...
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Initiate emergency rescue! Hurry! Hey, lend a hand! Receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong!
The Spina di Rasula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small skyship winglet, boon or bane of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with Jurier turning out to be a once overlooked hidden gem. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with... Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition pack. The value for these big... Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship.
Paimon's curious too! Wait a minute. Didn't we watch everything?
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed. And also, with you around...
Are you sure? Hasn't he turned you down several times already?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on! Let's head to Poisson first, and then make it... Oh, it's you. What brings you all here?
Hey, we're just having a...
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here. Oh, the Fatui are here too.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snejovic. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to...
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about Fontaine's stray cats. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report?
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as possible. Or would...
That would be fine. Thanks.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials.
Huh?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision-makers.
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel. About what...
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that.
I see you're the same as always.
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the Traveler. It's better than wait.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let her off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo...
How did it go? Was it a good shot, did Paimon?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news, and freshness is the key. Also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Who knows? I might eventually get that interview with you.
Wow, you really...
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Maripede.
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess, too. I asked Sijuin, who told Monsieur Nervillette, and he told you, right?
That's a... very...
In truth, All Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was, when did the fortress become so friendly towards the media? I told him that it was best not to speak too soon.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them.
Stay safe now. And tell
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgic...
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke! Did you come all the way...
Of course. I'm here to
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke!
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus.
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Hey, no need to be... Miss Charlotte.
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear...
Sir, please don't say...
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it.
No, I just...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And the boat that brought about a miracle, the ark that saved the people. Why, you recreated... Still, if I might ask, where's that flying ship now?
Huh! Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself...
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to get a shot of it.
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an...
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of the...
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well, then, 2 solo photos.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to...
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Sure. Come on, Miss Suze.
Huh? Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been at the...
Same old, as you can see.
Other than that flying ship.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes heroes.
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have your day in the sun. Not that you would want that, which is a pity.
I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still waiting for his return.
He sure did win them up.
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must fix...
Oh, actually, what about you?
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so... As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those...
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it a day here.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go.
There'll be a next...
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about the... All right, last stop, the docks. Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they...
Traveler, Paimon. And Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around...
Trick a friend? I wonder which of my friends...
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by...
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
You sure
are working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave underwater.
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins with a...
Lynette, could you come over? Miss Charlotte says she wants to take a picture of us.
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized I had something to say to you. Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events.
That's all right. We were more than...
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. After Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Nervillet opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
A diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine.
That's true, but this is a gnosis we're...
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur
So there's some reason for this...
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Yes, speaking of which, I did see...
Isn't he real busy and stuff? Paimon didn't... But back to the topic. The gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about...
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui.
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance.
Are you going to take the gnosis back?
That is our duty as harbingers. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that we must wear many masks. Switching my masks is something I've always done. Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future... As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision?
And that's a wrap for me. Huh?
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello? If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to take a photo of you.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our...
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, traveler, Paimon.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets when we first met, too. And what do you know? I guess this must be life. We will all follow our own. All right, then. We'll be handing out pockets and some other...
Well, guess we sent Charlotte off. Shall we go see how Neverlette's doing? As long as he's not so busy that...
Time to go. Time to go. Time to go.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you. All right, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually saved? The whole business...
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter
Whoa. So that's what happened? Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to...
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontainians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontainians became true humans, and thus...
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone. Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Focalor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to turn Oceanids and...
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. As for the judgment passed by the oratrice during the trial, whether it was due to that liability by association or Focalor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off, I cannot say.
Guess Focalor had Fontainians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real hang on a second. Paimon suddenly got another... Back when Fontainians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed Oceanids?
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontainians would often come to the Fountain of Luce?
Yeah! Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, And instead of those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon sorta gets it now. Either way.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Farina has already left.
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me. I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the opera house, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
But she's still got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time, but now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally
What about you, then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro...
After Focalor passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the Udex, huh?
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, as such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Udex. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro... Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay.
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really quite useful, huh?
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift or something!
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, the Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power. As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine. If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
A nation of dragons?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying... There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the knave. The harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring.
The Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everyone...
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. Paimon still got... When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only...
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. So regarding this specific issue, I was just... In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on. You hurry over.
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before.
I do not know what you speak.
Of course. You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of any such
According to your parlance.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information... It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts.
This third descender you refer to, who are...
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just... If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the...
Next time, you believe we will...
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger, then.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not.
The remains of the third descent. So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess.
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that...
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it. But
if she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk. I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the I wonder.
Like being able to use elemental power. No, let's not think about this stuff right now. Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all. That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck. Once child recovers, let's get some more answers.
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when
All right. Whatever the case, it seems...
Yes. All of...
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what she wanted?
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect not. But once in a while I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt one way or another, but the rain falls fairly upon all. And what, ultimately, is the difference between the rains that fall upon... It seems from your expressions that you still... Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I suggest that you fully prepare...
Once, there was a glorious...
If you keep your eyes peeled and your mind engaged, you'll find there's always a new story nearby just waiting to be discovered.
extra fee for that. I'll think about it.
There are lots of journalists in the court of Fontaine.
Exactly.